Rocio finally speaks. It's over between her and Marwa.
I want to formally explain why I left Kenya, what led me to it, and why I didn't give any explanations about my movement. Today, I want to publicly announce that Marwa and I are separated.
I'm waiting for Marwa to do a video and position himself as the victim. Leaving that aside, Jamaican uncle, what are you waiting for? Janet Harris, what are you waiting for? Chocolate Man, what are you waiting for? Judy Moyo, what are you waiting for? Start sending your applications to occupy the villa. Leaving that aside, I came on camera. I said, Rocio, she's not going back to that villa. I also came on camera and talked about cultural difference between Marwa and Rocio, where I highlighted about Western culture and African culture. That makes it very difficult for Rocio to marry Marwa. Apart from that, I also came on camera. I said, Rocio and Congress mom, they're not in good terms. I also came on camera and said that the reason why the Argentina family came to Kenya is to rescue their daughter.
You believe that God sent my family to Kenya so I could live with them, and so I didn't have to live along with all my belongings and my child in my arms. I do believe that my family were God sent to pick me up there.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this amazing YouTube channel that goes by the name Maxwell Lumumba Africa. Maxwell Lumumba is my name, a village content creator born and raised in a village setup with no jobs. At the end of the day, I do content creation to earn a living. That being that, for those who are coming across this YouTube channel for the first time, I do reaction videos, especially to the videos that have been posted in public domain. That being that, for those who have not subscribed to this amazing YouTube channel, make sure that you subscribe, like, comment, and share this video to other individuals. Remember to turn on the notification bell so that any day, anytime I post any video, you people watch my videos from the beginning up to the end without skipping any ads. Show love to this YouTube channel. Let us give like to this video. And for those who like lifestyle videos, I have another YouTube channel that goes by the name Vibe with Lumumba. Basically, for that YouTube channel, I post videos doing my lifestyle videos, village logs, and other different videos. And today, something very big happened on YouTube. Rocio finally broke her silence about her separation with Marwa. For months, people were asking, where is Rocio? What happened between them? Why did she leave Kenya quietly? Is she coming back? Why do Marwa call her still my wife? And today, she answered many of those questions. But she said what she said was deeper than just a breakup story. It was about culture, expectations, love, pressure, family, misunderstanding between two completely different worlds. So in this video, we are going to analyze every major point Rocio mentioned step by step and try to understand what really happened between Rocio and Marwa. Let me start by talking about she left quietly.
When I left Kenya, I didn't say a word, at least in social media, because I didn't want to make a lot of noise about it. I wanted to be able to live at peace or peacefully.
When I left Kenya, I didn't say anything on social media. I wanted to live peaceful. Let me analyze this statement. This statement reveals something very important. When someone leaves silently, it usually means the situation was already emotional exhausted. Many people who leave quietly do so for three main reasons. Reason number one, they want to avoid drama. Reason number two, they are protecting someone. And final reason, they are emotionally done. So Rocio is suggesting that she didn't want a public war. This is interesting because many YouTube couples break up publicly and aggressively. So she chose silence. That already tells us the separation probably happened long before the public knew. Another reason can be Rocio was contemplating the next move. He was trying to test water that how will life be when I'm away from Marwa? Because I have to make a very intelligent step before deciding my next move. And when she has seen that life is happening very well, she has decided to talk it loud so that people can actually know what has happened between her and Marwa. And that is the exact point we are now witnessing this.
It wasn't an easy decision. It really took me a lot of time, a lot of months, a lot of second chances, a lot of forgiveness, a lot of trying. That a woman never leaves from one day to another or out of nowhere. I think a woman never leaves without first trying to explain, to express herself.
Rocio said, it took a lot of months and a lot of second chances. This reminds me the time that Rocio escaped from the villa to Nairobi. This tells us that Rocio was planning his escape. This is a classic relationship pattern when children are involved, because look at what happened. Rocio went to Nairobi with baby Maisha, and people rarely leave immediately. They usually go through, try to fix things, because she came back and tried to fix things. This is the time that we saw those horses. This is the time that we saw those cars. So hoping the partner changes, and emotional fatigue, because it was the time that he was actually planning for the final living. That statement suggests that a relationship did not collapse suddenly. It deteriorated slowly by slowly. So everything that we saw on camera happening, so that means that everything was actually taking shape slowly by slowly.
We are called names like either you're crazy, you complain all the time, nothing satisfies you, you're so hard to please, I work so hard and you don't see, you're ungrateful. And the list goes on, right? But it's very important because we try to make it work, especially when there is a child involved, like in my case.
Rocio goes ahead and tells us the names that Marwa used to call her. The names like, you are lazy, you complain all the time, nothing satisfies you, you are hard to please, you are ungrateful. So these phrases are extremely important. In psychology, these are called invalidating responses. Instead of addressing a partner's concern, the person dismisses them. For example, if someone says, I feel hurt, and the response is, you complain too much, the problem never gets solved. Instead, the person feels emotional ignored. This creates resentment over time.
It's very important because we try to make it work, especially when there is a child involved, like in my case. Then it comes a time when we leave. We leave first in our heart, and then we live physically.
Rocio said something very deep. Sometimes we live first in our hearts and then physically. This is actually one of the most powerful lines she said. Most relationship end emotionally months before the physical breakup. By the time someone leaves physically, they already processed the separation internally. This suggests that Rocio had already emotionally detached long before leaving Kenya, and that is very evident. We could see Rocio all alone. We could see Rocio like she was always modeless, and that could tell you that something is not right between her and Marwa. Look at her behavior, look at her response, look at her the way she was behaving, especially look the mood that she was having when the Argentina family came to the villa. At least she was very happy as compared when she was alone. That tells us that a lot of things were missing to take shape.
My relationship with Marwa was a very extreme leap of faith. I think I express and I share this story multiple times, that when I met him, I was really praying to meet my future husband, the father of my children.
Let me talk about the leap of faith in relationship. Rocio says, when I met Marwa, I did not know him before, only 1 week. This is a very fast relationship start. When relationships move too fast, you do not know the person fully, you do not know their history, you do not know their personality pattern. Rocio later said that he researched Marwa after already committing emotionally. That can be very dangerous because sometimes what you discover later changes how you see that person. Now this is the reason why they got the baby too fast. This is the reason why even Rocio herself was like, I'll be getting married so fast, I'll be doing weddings so fast, and the outcome of it was something null and void.
I didn't even did a research on how the Kenyan culture was, how the African men were. So that's when I started to understand that culturally we were very, very opposite in many things. I come from one of the most affectionate cultures ever. And from the other hand, he comes from one of the less affectionate.
I remember I came on camera where I brought something like a cultural difference, and today I'm going to discuss about culture shock. Rocio said something very important. She came from one of the most affectionate cultures in the world. Argentina and the Latin Americans are very expressive culture. People hug a lot, show emotions openly, speak passionately, value romantic gestures. She says Kenyan culture is felt less affectionate. Now, this is not necessarily bad, but it creates relationship friction. Two people can love each other but still struggle if their emotional language are different. This is called love language conflict. I came on camera. I told people that before you marry your partner, make sure that you learn something like cultural, actually the cultural for these. Let's say if you're an African, you need to learn something about the culture of the Western world. For the Western world, they have to understand the culture about the African. Yeah, once you do that, you people actually after learning the culture, things become even more easy. So that means your entanglement, your engagement becomes very easy. That is why we have lot of YouTubers, the likes of Ling and Lang, yeah. The reason why their relationship up to now, it is still intact, is because they understand each other's culture.
We were having a lot of pressure from his mother. To be honest, one day I was recording a video and she came and I was recording and she came to tell me, why you're not pregnant yet? And I stopped the video and I deleted. I never showed that video in camera just for a matter of respect to her. But that was a total disrespect to me. She stopped doing those things because I told her that she had to stop. But yes, she behaved very intrusive with those type of comments. Like,
Rocio came on camera and spoke something about family pressure. She mentioned Congress mom asking why she was not pregnant yet. This is a very big cultural difference in many African families. Family involvement in relationship is normal. Elders ask personal questions openly, but in Western culture, pregnancy questions can feel very intrusive. For Rocio, it felt like disrespect. For the mother, it may be seen actually normal conversation. This is a classic cross-cultural misunderstanding. Rocio goes ahead and says that she had to delete that video because Congress mom disrespected her. I remember me personally, my mom has come severally asking me that, Max, you're not getting married. So you see, such kind of questions, they are very intrusive. Yeah, those are very intrusive questions that maybe for somebody in the Western world, you'll see that question as more personal as compared to the same questions asked to us. For me, I see that normal, but maybe for somebody else, you see that as something like a disrespect.
Marwa and I didn't get married, and I believe that from his side, it was this promise to his subscribers that one day he will. But I never felt this promise. He told me a couple of times, yes, I want to make you my wife. I told him, don't propose. But he didn't even know how proposing worked. You know, I come from the Western culture, and if I ever get married or if I ever dreamed about getting married, we dream about this surprise.
Let me speak something about the marriage promise. Rocio said, Marwa promised marriage, but she never felt the promise. She explained something interesting. In Western culture, women often dream about surprise proposals, engagement rings, romantic gesture. She says Marwa did not understand these. This again goes back to cultural expectations of romance. Different culture express commitment differently.
Horses was a very beautiful act of love from him, yes, and he knows how much I appreciate it. And maybe if I need to be clear about the business with the horses that Marwa started, I have nothing to do with it. A lot of people think it's my fault that he's buying and he go crazy. Marwa just get obsessed with things and there's nothing that you can stop.
Let me speak something about the horses business. The horses that were imported from South Africa to Kenya, the Appaloosa, those were gifts of love for Rocio. The reason why Marwa had to bring these Appaloosas is because he wanted to trap Rocio so as Rocio will be taking care of those horses. But she has nothing to do with that business. That is what Rocio said. This suggests that he was investing emotionally and financially into that relationship, but He may have felt this effort was not reciprocated. Yeah, this money you could spend it in doing some other things. Yeah, because this is a multi-million project without profit, because that is even what Rocio said herself, that you are spending a lot of money to buy these horses, but this venture is not even profitable.
Has this mindset that a woman will come and take 50% of everything that he worked so hard for in a possible separation or divorce.
People are afraid of actually dividing their wealth halfway, especially when they divorce. Marwa fear of divorce. Rocio said, Marwa fears that a woman will take 50% of his property in divorce. This is actually a very common fear amongst any men globally, especially people who built wealth through hard work, personal work. But this fear can sometimes create defensive in relationship. That was exactly the reason why Marwa was not ready to actually marry Rocio, because Marwa feared that once he marries Rocio legally, in case of divorce, in case of separation, they have to split the wealth equally, so that the wife can go with half the wealth and her going with the half the wealth.
God sent my family to Kenya so I could live with them. And so I didn't have to live alone with all my belongings and my child in my arms. I do believe that my family were God sent to pick me up there. They didn't know that I was leaving until they found out there. They saw many situations that they're not happy about.
I remember I came on camera said that the reason why the Argentina family came to Kenya is to pick their daughter. So Rocio came on camera and she said that she believed that God sent her family to Kenya so she could live safely. This is very emotional. It shows that she felt supported by her family during difficult moments. She also said that her family did not know she was leaving until they noticed situation they didn't actually like, because we could see Rocio. Before the Argentina family came, Rocio looked very dull. She looked very emotional, isolated. Actually, she wanted to be alone. But when the sister came, every time they were with the sister, and this is the period that we could even see things like egg thieves. Actually, Marwa himself was now behaving very awkwardly, and that actually suggested that something is not going on as according the way it should be happening. And the day that they left, I came on camera said that Marwa was not even aware that Rocio was leaving. Marwa realized that Rocio was leaving when they were at the airport, and Marwa could do nothing at all, because once you are in the airport, you cannot do anything fishy, like maybe pulling Rocio to come back. Anything fishy could not happen. At the end of the video, Rocio requests Marwa that even though they have separated, they still have something in common, the golden baby that binds them together. They should come together and offer support to the kid. Let me say this. This story is not simply about a breakup. It is a story about cultural difference, expectations of love, communication of problems, family pressure, and two people from completely different worlds trying to build a life together. Sometimes love is real, but compatibility is missing. Goodbye.